Hi, thank you for joining me. This is morning yoga, but it would be appropriate to do anytime. Let's begin by standing at the top of your mat, bringing your feet a comfortable distance apart, approximately hip distance. Root down through your feet, reach up through the crown of your head, and bring your hands to heart center. Feel some slight support through your pelvic floor, through your lower abdomen. Feel yourself arriving to this practice with your full intention and attention. And begin to set your intention for this practice. What is it that brought you to the mat today? What do you wish to cultivate? And bring that into your heart. Inhale, stretch the arms up. And exhale, bring them down through heart center as you bow forward. Inhale, reaching up, rooting down through your feet. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to sweep up. And this time as you exhale, stay bowing forward. Come up part way as you extend from crown to sitting bones and fold again. Inhale, slide the hands up the shins, strong through your belly. Exhale to fold over strong legs. Inhale, reaching out of your pelvis. And exhale, melting, bend your knees as necessary. Plant the hands on the floor and begin to step your feet back. Lower the knees to the ground. Begin to draw your sitting bones back to your heels. Come into a long child's pose. Spread your fingers wide. Exhale, draw the sitting bones back. We're going to come forward and back a few times in coordination with the breath. Inhale to draw shoulders over wrists. Exhale, pull the sitting bones back between the heels. Inhale, shoulders over wrists, strong hands. Exhale, sitting bones back, long spine. Inhale to draw forward. Exhale to lean back. Those knees are about hip distance apart, as are the feet. Let's stay back in child's pose. Take a couple of breaths here, pressing the sitting bones back to the heels, stretching out the feet, and then begin to lift your sitting bones up, coming into downward facing dog. You can always stay down in child's pose. We're going to lengthen the right leg down to the ground and soften the left knee. Press the mat away with the hands and keep reaching the crown of the head down towards the earth. Strong through the upper body, strong through the legs, bending both knees, and then lengthening the left leg down towards the floor, bending the right. Notice that sensation through the back of the left leg. You're keeping some support here through the lower abdomen and the pelvic floor. You're continuing to ride the wave of the breath. And if you like to practice Ujjayi breath, please do so. And come onto the creases of both toes, shift slightly forward, and exhale, drawing back into downward facing dog. Engage those quadriceps. Keep reaching the heels to the floor, although they might not get there. You can't actually quite see the heels because they're hidden behind the ankles when you're in proper alignment. The feet might be slightly wider than the hips. Feel what's good in your low back here. Keeping those thigh bones pressing to the wall behind. Continuing to feel into the breath. Inhale, extend your right leg up to the sky. And exhale, step that right knee forward inside the wrist. Lower the back knee. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale to sweep them down alongside the body. Inhale to reach up. Keep squeezing between those inner thighs. Exhale to fold on the diagonal. Inhale, lifting arms alongside ears. Exhale, arms alongside the body as you lean forward. Inhale to reach up. And exhale, sweeping forward long through your crown. Inhale, reach the arms up. And we're going to stay here. Breathing here. Squeezing the mat between your legs. Breathing here. Begin to bring your fingertips towards your spine. Stretch your elbows up to the sky. Open up your armpits. So we're finding a back bend here. Noticing the beautiful curve in the back of the body. Staying and breathing. We'll be holding each posture for 5 conscious breaths. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Come on the diagonal and then lower the hands down. Peel the back knee off the ground and step your front foot back. You're back in downward dog. Inhale, lifting the left leg up. Step it in between that left hand, left wrist. Lower the right knee. Inhale, arms to rise alongside the ears. Keep some space between your ears and the shoulders. Exhale, arms back, getting into those shoulders. Inhale to rise, getting into the spine. Exhale to lean back. We have 2 more. Inhale, breath, arms up. Exhale, sweep the arms through. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, sweep the arms back, reach the fingers. Inhale, lifting up, stay here and breathe. Keep action in the legs. Draw the fingers towards the spine. Squeeze those elbows towards the ears. Breathing here. Pull up your pelvic floor. Mula Bandha. Bandhas are locks. Keep muscular action. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Come on the diagonal, then lower those hands down. Peel the back knee off the floor and step forward. Standing forward fold. Looking up part way. Exhale, bowing down over strong legs. Come up part way onto your shins. Exhale, folding over the thighs. Remembering this movement comes from the pelvis rotating over the thigh bones. Inhale, maybe bend the knees, stretch the crown out of the hips. Strong upper back, supportive belly muscles, rooting down through all of your toes, rooting down through the feet. Begin to bend the knees, sweep the arms up. Keep that bend in the knees. Keep action on your inner thighs. Finding chair pose here. Bring your hands to heart center. Fold over those thighs, keeping those knees bent like you're sitting in a chair. You're going to rotate towards the right, either with your wrists or bring your elbows over towards the right and then over to the left. So you're going to do that just one breath each side, and then we're going to stay. Come back through center and bring those, either the wrists or the elbows, over to the right. And you're going to keep a nice deep knee bend and pivot your chest towards the right. This rotation will start to happen first at the pelvis. It's okay if one knee comes slightly forward, but not a lot. But just allow that movement to be free in the back. You don't want to feel locked. Come back through center, and then as you exhale, take it over to the other side. So rotating over to the left. Maybe bring your hands a little closer to the chest. Keep drawing the elbows wide. Find your breath here. Keep those knees squeezing towards each other. Breathing and being here. You've got this. Bring yourself back to center. Plant the hands on either side of the foot. Extend through your crown and exhale, bow over long legs. Beautiful breathing here. Remember, keep those muscular legs active. All 10 toes on the floor, feeling weight in both the front and the back of the feet, and predominantly right through the center of your heel. Maybe fold a little more forward if that's available. Plant your hands, step your feet back, come into plank pose. You can bring your knees to the ground if that's more suitable. If you're in full plank pose, keep the belly drawing up and in, press the floor with the hands. Reaching nice and long through the heels and thigh bones pressing to the sky. We're going to stay here and breathe, active here, strong through the core muscles. And push up and back into downward facing dog, or if your knees are on the ground, into child's pose. Breathing here. Coming forward again into plank. Exhale back into downward dog. Beautiful. Lower the knees to the floor. And then draw the sitting bones up and back. Inhale forward, option knees to the floor. I'm going to lift that right leg. Reach through your heel. Lower that foot down, reach through the left leg. You can do this on your elbows. You can do this one knee, one leg lifted. Pull your hips up and back. Again, strong inhale, right leg to rise. Exhale, step that foot inside the right wrist. We're going to stay high on the back toes here. Crescent lunge. If you like, you can lower the back knee. Coming into a spinal twist, left hand on the floor under the shoulder. Begin to pivot your body, open your chest towards that right knee. Keep hugging that knee in towards center line as you wrap that right arm around the low back. Keep lifting through the pelvic floor, strong through the legs. Reach through the back heel. Squeeze inner thighs towards each other. Breathing. Beautiful option to extend that right arm up to the sky, reaching from your heart in both directions. What is it that brought you to the mat today? Remember, feel it. Beautiful. Step your back foot in slightly. Take the bend out of the front knee. So you want that back heel to be able to reach the ground as you straighten both legs, but keeping those quadriceps active so you're not pressing into the back knee. You might even walk your front foot open ever so slightly. Breathe. Lengthen. Soften into the moment. It's always this beautiful combination of action and surrender. Step your back foot forward. Bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Come into your chair pose once again. Maybe draw your knees closer together. Action through the inner thighs. Arms come alongside the ears or bring them forward if the shoulders need some release. Find your breath here. Strengthen the lower body. Exhale to fold forward. Maybe go a little deeper. Maybe behind the legs is available, but it's not important. Just working at your own pace. Plant the hands on the floor. Step your right leg back. Letting that right heel rise up so you're doing it on the other side. Plant your right hand on the ground. You're going to begin to pivot towards the left knee. Hug that left knee and it's going to try and roll open, but you're going to keep that left big toe on the ground. Press the right thigh bone to the sky. And keeping that right hand underneath the shoulder, wrap the left arm around the low back. Remember, we stabilize and then we mobilize. Just because you're flexible doesn't necessarily mean it's the most appropriate. We need to keep some stability here. Maybe extend that top arm up to the sky. You're not dropping into that bottom wrist. You're pressing the floor away to avoid wrist injury. Plant the hand on the ground. Step your back foot slightly forward so that your back heel can come onto the ground. Begin to lengthen into your front leg. Keep some weight in both feet. Think about creating length all along the spine, through the backs of the legs, lengthening through your breath. Step the back foot in. Bend the knees. Inhale, sweep up through the power of your legs. Reach all the way up. Come into perhaps a little bit of a back bend. Look down. Take a look at your feet. Make any adjustments with your clothing. Beautiful. I'm just rotating on the wide part of my mat. I'm going to come into a bit of a lateral stretch here. Find the position of your feet, maybe big toes together, maybe feet slightly apart. You will know what's right because of how it feels in your low back. Press the floor away, reach up and out of the hips, reaching over to one side. Hug those arms alongside the ears. Maybe interlace the fingers, press the hands away. Inhale to come up through center. And exhale, lifting up and out over to the other side. Create a lot of length through that side body. Keep weight in both feet. Maybe press the palms away towards the sky. Inhale to reach up and exhale to fold forward. Step your feet wide. So come to the wide part of your mat if you haven't already. And take the inner edges of your feet a little more parallel. The outer edges of your feet parallel. Walk your hands a little more forward, coming into a wide downward dog. And then walk your hands underneath your shoulders. If you have blocks here, you can always use the blocks to bring the floor up to you. If it's really accessible for you to bring your head down to the ground, you'll narrow your feet. And if your feet are narrow, it actually makes this posture more challenging. So you might want to open them if your inner thighs allow. Check the weight distribution in your feet. Make sure all 10 toes are rooted, but not gripping. There's a difference. Maybe come up part way, bend your knees as necessary. Bend your knees, come all the way up through the strength of your legs. Keep that action through the legs. Pelvic floor stays active, Mula Bandha active. Inhale. As you exhale, you're going to pivot your feet open towards those corners of your mat, and you're going to open your knees wide. So you're going to use your glute action here to draw the knees towards your baby toes. Bend your elbows. This is called goddess pose. So you imagine that you're resisting something here. As you bend your elbows, you look strong, a strong warrior goddess. Glutes are active, thighs are active, breathing here, pelvic floor drawing in and up. Now come into start. Inhale, reach the arms up, reach up and out of the center of your body and out and down through the center of your body, reaching to all four corners of the universe, if the universe had corners. So finding space here, take up space. Now bend the knees, open the knees really wide, use the glutes. Knees tracking over the middle of the foot, coming into bent elbows. Now lift your right heel off the ground. You can do this. Breathe here, lower it down, lift the left heel off the ground. Beautiful breathing here, lower it down. Try both heels, lifting up Find your breath, find your inner strength here. You've got this, you've got this, you've got this. It's a bit of a balance too. Release the heels, stretch wide. Beautiful. Enjoy that. Breathe. Imagine that you're shining your light. Shine your light out into the world. Shine bright. Beautiful. Hands come onto your hips. And pivot your right foot to the corner of your mat. The left foot stays parallel to the short end of your mat. Begin to bend into that right knee. Track the knee over the ankle and then open that knee towards the baby toe. The back leg is spiraling out and down, and check that you're facing the wide part of the mat with your chest. Now lift your right heel. Open the right arm alongside the head and just let your left fingers graze down on that long leg. Stay here strong. You've got this. Extend the arms wide, lower that right heel. Reach forward, bring that right arm onto the right thigh, left arm alongside the left ear. Now you're not dropping all your weight onto that arm. You're using your obliques. Maybe bring that right hand to the outer edge of that foot or on a block and sweep that left arm alongside the ear, reaching on the diagonal. Reach down through that back heel, out through the tips of your fingers, feeling and breathing as you keep that front knee opening wide. Sweep the arm down, come back up into warrior two. You might be feeling your legs about now. Using those larger muscle groups in the legs does help us burn some calories. We're going to wrap that left arm around the low back, maybe reach for the inner thigh. Reach your right arm up and over, coming into breathing here into sun warrior. Beautiful. Extend your arms out wide, parallel. Pivot your right foot in. And then pivot your left foot out, right foot out, coming back into goddess, bending the knees. Use your glutes, open the knees wide, bend your elbows. Maybe take the opportunity here to play again with lifting a heel, alternating a heel or both heels, strengthening your calves, balancing here. Keep the knees opening wide. Beautiful. Shine, shine, shine up wide. And then pivot your back foot in, your right foot in, left foot out nice and wide. Bending into that left knee. Track it over towards your baby toe. Let the back foot, your right foot, root down to the ground. Arms parallel to the floor. You can always place your hands on your waist. You're going to peel your left heel off the ground. Wrap that right arm around the low back. Sweep the left arm around and just looking to that inner elbow as you find sun warrior. We're taking it first on this side. We're reversing some of the sequence, but we'll do all of the poses. We're going to bring and sweep that right arm down alongside the body and then reach that chest open, facing that chest towards the wide part of your mat. Maybe reach your left hand down towards the outer edge of your left foot. Keep pivoting your chest open. Pivoting the chest open, reaching down through the right heel, reaching up through the right arm. Coming back into warrior two. Sweep the arms up, lengthen. Pivot your foot back. Interlace your hands behind your back. Make sure the outer edges of your feet are parallel. If anything, slightly tucked in. I don't want those toes tucking out. And begin to draw the chest forward. Again, rotating the pelvis over the thighs. Use your abdominal muscles here and keep the quadriceps active. Reach out of your crown. Maybe squeeze the elbows towards each other. Plant the hands on the ground. We're actually going to come into a spinal twist. So you'll keep that left hand on the ground and stretch the right arm up to the sky. Your pelvis is shifting slightly here to the right. Keeping the outer edge of both feet on the ground. Option to wrap that top arm around the low back. A little bit of weight in that front arm, but you're not dropping into it. Keep using your torso muscles, your inner thigh muscles, using your breath. Beautiful. Release that hand. We'll switch sides, sweeping the left arm up, reaching both directions out of your heart. Option, wrap that arm around the low back. Again, always just discovering your edge for the day. It's different than yesterday. It'll be different than tomorrow. We're not here to get better, quote unquote, at something. We're here to feel and breathe and experience and open. Beautiful. We're going to toe heel those feet closer together, just about shoulder distance apart, and begin to draw the sitting bones down into a squat position. Now, if your heels come off the floor here, I'll invite you to roll up your mat or place a pillow or something underneath them since you're at home. Use your elbows to open up those inner thighs. Tailbones dropping down, the crown is stretching up and open. See if you can think about opening through your heart with your hands at your heart here, maybe recalling your intention. Beautiful. Inhale, sitting bones to rise. Toe, heel your feet towards parallel. And bow down over long legs. Beautiful. Bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale down through heart center. Now you can keep facing the wide part of the mat if you like. I've just rotated to show you from the side. We're going to come into a balanced pose. Several balanced poses. So draw your right knee up parallel to the ground. Right knee at the height of the hip. If the big toe is available, take the big toe with the right hand, reaching through the inner edge of your leg. And then you extend that right leg out long. Remember, you can keep holding the knee. You can take that right leg out to the side. Checking on your balance. Bring that right leg back to center. Hands on your hip. Maybe point through your toe. Notice my shoulders, my ears, and my hips are in the same line. Draw that knee up and then release it down. Shake it out. Sometimes that can feel a little bit grippy. We'll do that on the other side now. So now you're standing on your opposite leg. Belly is in, pelvic floor lifted. Begin to draw your left knee up parallel to the thigh. Even if you come forward to take your toe, you bring your shoulders back over your hips. Stretch that left leg forward. Shoulders, hips, and ears stay in the same line. If you have your toe, you're pulling the toe back. If you have your knee, you're now taking that out wide, or the foot, taking it out wide, looking over the other shoulder. Feeling strong here in your balance, bring that foot forward, bend the knee, and release it back down. Oops, forgot, extend your toe. Reach through the leg, and now release that back down. Maybe walk it out just a little bit. Preparing for another balance pose, we'll start with tree, and I'll give you some variation. So take your right knee out to the side. You can come into traditional tree with your foot on your inner calf, or you can come into a variation here. So maybe take your ankle onto your left thigh and begin to bend into your left knee. So this is kind of like a standing pigeon pose. Extend your fingers up to the sky, bend a little bit more into that standing leg. So we're rotating that right hip open. Beautiful. Release that leg out. You can bring your hands back to your hips. Check that your hips are parallel here. So both sides the same height. Now pivot your left knee out and open. Come either into tree with your foot on your inner calf, or bring that ankle above that right knee, like you're going to sit in a chair with your legs crossed and taking that left knee out to the side. So nice deep external hip rotation here. Arms can come up to the sky, or they can stay resting on your hips. Beautiful. Press through the standing leg and release out. Sashay your hips here like you got a little bit of attitude, and then bring your feet together. Inhale to stretch the arms up, and exhale to fold forward, coming wide on the mat once again. So step your feet wide. Check that the edges of your feet are parallel with the short edges of your mat, and begin to bend into your right knee. You might even pivot your right foot open slightly, especially if this is aggravating your knee. Always taking good care of our knee alignment. And then shift your weight over to the other side. Now bring your pelvis back to center. This can be a challenging pose. So always do what you can to take good care of your knees. You're going to bend into that right knee. If that right heel isn't on the ground, I'm going to have you come back up. And the left leg, if it's extended, you're keeping a lot of action through that left quadriceps. You're not dropping into the back of the knee. Beautiful. Let's shift up and do our effort on the other side, bending into the left knee, left heel on the ground, left knee opening really wide. Right thigh is active here. Right toes pointing to the sky. You can use your hands on the ground so you're not dropping all the weight. I definitely don't want you sacrificing your knees for this pose. Okay, beautiful. Release the hands down, shift your weight back to midline, and then walk your hands forward and lower your knees to the ground. We're coming into another hip opener. So this is called tadpole. So you're resting on the inner edges of your knees, really wide, a lot wider than child's pose. Maybe you can go into a deeper version of it, but maybe not. That's okay. Maybe the ankles line up with the knees and the arches of the feet point down to the floor. You can come to rest on your forearms. You can come to bring your toes together once again. So you're going to breathe here, deep external hip rotation. If this aggravates your knee joints, you come out. You come into child's pose. Beautiful. Draw your knees together. Cross your ankles. You're just going to come to seated, rolling yourself over your feet. Extend your right leg out to the side. Bring your left foot to your inner thigh. Right toes point to the sky. Right quadricep active. Right hand on the shin. Inhale, left arm up to the sky. And exhale, reaching over towards that right toe. That right toe might not be in your hemisphere today. That's okay. You rest your hand on your head. So we're starting with the chest open, and then we're going to lift up, come up, rotate slightly, lengthening your torso down over that long leg. Beautiful breathing here. Long leg, always active. Active meaning quadriceps are active. Muscular action. Protect your joints. Beautiful. Switch sides. Bend the right knee. Place that foot on the left inner thigh. Left toes point to the sky. So you get a really wide opening here between your thighs. Reach the right arm up and over. Maybe taking the left toes. Keep the chest open for a few breaths. So you get into your QL here. That's muscle in the back. Nice deep lumbar stretch, but again, it shouldn't hurt. You're going to inhale, come up, square your shoulders over that long leg, and then bow down, just whatever is available here. We never force. If you feel like you're squeezing your shoulders up towards your ears, you're trying too hard. Soften, ease and effort, balanced with breath. Walk your hands back up. Beautiful. I have you roll over so you're on the long part of your mat. I'm going to roll up my mat because I want my pelvis to tilt slightly forward. You might want to let your sitting bones tip off the edge of your mat. So maybe roll the end of your mat up. And this helps to keep my pelvis in a more neutral alignment. I definitely don't want you rolling back into your low back. If you have any questions on this, watch my tutorial on fundamentals of pelvic structure. So as you bend that right knee, you're going to bring that right foot across your left leg and start to rotate your chest towards the bent knee. You're going to walk that back hand in close to your hips. You're not leaning back on it. You can always use a block. You can come a little deeper into this by bringing that arm in, taking it across the knee, squeezing that knee in towards the torso. As you inhale, think about inhaling tall. And as you exhale, rotating the torso towards that knee without collapsing the chest. Keep lifting up, create a lot of length for spine and breath. Beautiful. Look towards that right foot, and you're going to take it with your left hand. Open wide, reach through both heels. Reach through your crown. Reach from your heart to both arms. Breathing here. That leg is slightly crossing the other leg. Look towards your foot. Bend the right knee. Plant the hand on the foot and extend that right leg up to the sky. Maybe it lengthens. Maybe it stays bent. Again, work at your own pace. If you're rounding your back just to straighten your leg, please don't. Instead, bring your spine into a nice integrity and bend the knee. Beautiful. Release that foot down, extend that leg. And do that on the other side. Bend your left knee. Hug the shin in nice and close. Remind yourself to get tall as you breathe in, like you're breathing through the entire length of the spine. And then when you're ready, exhale, let that left ankle cross the right knee. Hug that left knee in with the right arm and begin to rotate towards that thigh. Walk that left hand in towards your sitting bone. Keep those shoulders parallel. Hug the knee in with the right arm. You can even bring that arm to the other side of the knee. It deepens a twist here, but it's not required. Working at your own pace. looking over the left shoulder with your gaze. Chin stays parallel, breath stays even. Anytime we hold a pose, we don't hold the breath. We keep the breath consistently flowing, fluid. I always think of it as a thread that we're weaving to create a tapestry. Beautiful. Lengthen that left knee out, reaching on the diagonal. Keep reaching up through your crown, down through the sitting bones, out through the heart. I've got my special guest, that's Chloe. Wrap your hands around that left foot. Right thigh bone keeps pressing down to the earth. Right heel pressing down. Left heel stretching up. Crown reaching up. Holding that foot with the hand. Bend the knee as necessary. Reaching up. Drishti, or your gaze, is towards that top toe. Beautiful. Bend the left knee. Plant the left foot on the ground. I'm going to move the flesh from my sitting bones back. We're going to come into Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Again, let your pelvis rotate over your thighs. Maybe that needs bending your knees. You can even try this variation of wrapping your hands under and then walking your heels out long. Only taking the hands to the feet if it means not sacrificing your spine. So if you're looking in a mirror and it looks like you're kind of collapsing, remember, anytime you're sort of folding forward, you don't want to feel as if you're collapsing your chest or your breath. So I'm still able to breathe fluidly here. Keep open through your chest. Beautiful. Inhale to come up. I'm going to unroll my mat. And keeping my knees bent, walking those heels in close to my hips, hugging my belly in towards my back body. I'm going to scoop out the abdomen. You can hold the backs of your thighs or not as you roll down to the ground. Beautiful. Ribs on the floor, shoulders on the floor. And rotate that left knee out wide. So just like we did when we were standing, except this now time we're on the ground. This is a figure 4 position. Again, another variation for pigeon pose. Hug the right knee into the chest. That foot that's on the thigh, keep that ankle stable so you're not letting your ankle collapse. Hug that right knee in either with the shin or the thigh or a strap. You're using both hands here. I'm using my left elbow to continue to help open up my left thigh. You just can't see that. And release the right foot down. Take the arms out wide. Walk your right foot across to the left side of your mat and roll over onto your right hip. Keep that left knee pointing to the sky. I'm going to hold my right ankle with my right hand. Hold my left ankle with my right hand. This is always a tough one to cue. Breathing here. And then bringing yourself back across your pelvis. And again, this can be kind of challenging. So if this isn't available, this is reclined fire log pose. If this aggravates your knees, come out of it. You can maybe cross your legs here. Beautiful. Walk that right foot back and squeeze your thighs together. Squeeze your thighs really tight, really tight. Scoot your hips over to the left and lower your knees down to the right here. Keep broadening across your chest. So the left hip is stacked over the right. If that means sort of shimmying your hips slightly over, then you do that. If wrapping the toe around the calf is available, that's a nice option too, but not required. Breathe here. Breathe into your left ribs. Breathe into the left side of your body, opening. Breathe into releasing something here. What is it you'd like to squeeze out? No longer serves. Beautiful. And release back. Extend that right knee out to the side. So rotating at the right hip and then finding that right outer foot on the left thigh bone. Keep that right knee opening wide. If you like, you'll lift your left knee off or left foot off the ground. Using my right elbow to open up the right thigh. Hands around the thigh or around the shin. I'm keeping my upper back relaxed on the floor. This idea of keeping a lot of space for my breath in my chest. Breathing isn't meant to be difficult in yoga. So if it is, that tells me that maybe you need to adjust something. I'm going to have you pivot your hips over to the right and lower your everything over to the left. So the outer edge of your left knee to the ground and the sole of your right foot still pointing to the ground, right knee pointing to the sky. Arms out wide. Begin to walk that left foot back underneath the knee. And maybe lowering down and walking that foot over underneath the right knee. Or you can cross your legs. This again can be a deep pose for the hips. So maybe uncross as I've demonstrated here and just kind of cross the legs in a recline pose. I cannot stress enough that I do not want you to experience pain in your knees. Beautiful left ankle again underneath the left knee. Cross your right thigh over the left really close. If we were in studio, I'd tell you, imagine you have to go to the bathroom and begin to let your hips move over to the right and your knees come to the left. Check that your right hip is stacking over the left so that back of the pelvis is off the floor. You're on the lateral side here, the outside of your left hip. Right arm opening wide. Beautiful. You might even interlace your toes around your calf. Breathe into the right side. Release what no longer is needed. What is it you're wringing out? What are you letting go of? And we're going to unwind those legs. Extend the right leg up and release it down. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let the knees open wide. Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose. Maybe drape the arms above the head. I'm just letting them rest on the floor. Or they can stay on your belly. They can plant under your thighs. They can rest on your thighs. Simply breathing here and being here. Beautiful. I'm going to have you walk your knees in. Bring the arms back down alongside the body. Walk your heels in really close. Coming to bridge pose. Inhale, letting your hips lift high. Exhale, lower the glutes down. Inhale, use your glutes and your inner thighs to lift. Exhale to lower down. Keep the arms actively pressing into the ground. Inhale to lift the chest towards the head. Exhale to release. Press the floor away. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, lift the hips, use your glutes. Interlace your hands, walk your shoulders under a little bit more. Keep pressing the arms down to the ground and reaching them toward your feet. Make sure your neck here is free. Make sure the breath feels free. Option, extend your left leg up to the sky. This is another variation, so this is a multi-level class. Bend that left knee, plant it beside the right foot. Right knee draws in. Extend the right toe up to the sky. Keep lifting and pressing down into that supporting leg. Reaching, beautiful. Bend the right knee, plant it back down. Release the hands. Use abdominal muscles and lower. Let those knees, windshield wiper, side to side. Release the low back. Now draw your left knee into your chest and your right knee into your chest. Squeeze both in. Not crossing the ankles here. Release them back down. Plant your hands underneath your glutes. I'll give you a couple of options here. So you can stay right here. This is already a back bend. You're already feeling opening through your chest. My legs are active. I'm reaching through my toes. Maybe you want to lift, look toward your toes and rest on your elbows. You are very careful here as you draw the head back. You don't want to be pinching your neck. So if you feel like you're pinching your neck, you're going to come out. Or you can rest your head on a block if you've got it. This is called Matsyasana, fish pose. So the legs are together just like the fin of a fish. Maybe you'd rather be a mermaid or a merman. Release those hands, release the legs. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Bend your knees again, arms out to the side. Let the knees, as you exhale, find a side. Inhale, center. Exhale, over to the other side. It feels good Notice how you feel at this point in your practice, coming towards the end of the practice. We've got about 5 minutes left before we come into the end of our practice. So Shavasana is coming close. So just release here. Feel free to do some organic movement here. Feeling into what the body needs. I'm going to let my knees stay to the right, keep my arms above my head. Maybe you'd like to explore something different. And I'm going to sweep my knees back to center. Beautiful. Hug the left knee in, draw the nose to the knee if you like. Squeeze abdominals, lower the chest back down. Hug the right knee in, squeeze the abdominals, and then lower the chest back down. Release the foot. Left knee, right knee, squeezing in again. Plant the hands underneath the glutes. Coming into our inversion, it's always a good idea to finish your postures, your practice, complete your practice with an inversion. So we're coming into dead bug pose. So dead bug pose, the wrists extend up to the sky, right above the shoulders. You're going to draw the knees a little bit closer to the chest so that you're not feeling that you're having to work here too much. So just let those thigh bones draw towards the belly, knees bent, wrists are relaxed, shoulders are relaxed, fingers relaxed. If it still feels like you're working and your lower back is arching off the floor, please, you can hold your legs, or you can bend your knees and bring your heels in towards your thighs. You may even keep your hands stacked under your hips. Stay here for a few more breaths. Let the blood flow back to the heart. Let that subtle energy of the practice move into the higher energy centers in the area of the throat and the forehead and the crown. Beautiful. Squeeze the knees in. And release one leg to the floor and then the other. Shavasana. Take your heels to the corner of the mat and relax. Arms out wide, legs out wide. Deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Take a moment to reflect on how you feel, body, mind, and spirit, from showing up to the mat. Yoga is a full body and mind practice. Notice by you showing up to the practice, how the practice showed up to you. Maybe even let the corners of your lips be slightly upturned or neutral. Take your tongue to the roof of your mouth and let it soften. Soften the distance between your teeth. Soften the muscles behind the eyes. Soften the muscles around the legs, the arms, the torso into the ground. Letting go and letting go and letting go. What doors have you opened? Finishing with a reading by Dana Faulds, The Open Door. A door opens. Maybe I've been standing here shuffling my weight from foot to foot for decades, or maybe I only knocked once. In truth, it doesn't matter. A door opens and I walk through without a backward glance. This is it then, one moment of truth in a lifetime of truth, a choice made, a path taken, the gravitational pull of spirit too compelling to ignore any longer. I am received by something far too vast to see. Its roots in antiquity, but speaks clearly in the present tense. Be, the vastness says. Be without adverbs, descriptors, or qualities. Be so alive that awareness bears itself uncloaked and unadorned. Then go forth to give what you alone can give, awake to love and suffering, unburdened by the weight of expectations. Go forth to see and be seen, blossoming, always blossoming into your magnificence. Thank you for practicing with me. Until next time, namaste.